We're still kind of dealing with the 70s because well, this is something quite new. The Five Tales from the 70s is.
It's a collection that this is from a book that's going to be published at the end of the year.
Okay, I enjoyed all five of the tales, but the one that moved me, I think, was the Egg to Flame one, which deals with the period that we've been talking about.
Yeah, it was a formative period. That's actually before I left for Italy. There's one, there's an Italian one there.
Yeah, with the shoes. That's nice linking device that you used. And then, this story that you told it's got a lot of pain in the story. I don't think it's necessarily your pain, but there's this very sort of quite sad sense of fragility in it, about it all. The egg to the flame. This wonderful kind of exuberant performance that you worked on, and the contrast with that, with the kind of gradual dissolution into quite sort of isolated existences and things like that. I think that's something that perhaps is a very typical experience of a person who's involved in the arts in New Zealand.
It was particularly the central character, and that is Royce Sutcliffe, who's an old friend who started the Arts Centre in Hobson Street in the 70s.
I was going to ask you a question about film, because you've made, I don't know how many films you've made.
I don't know, quite a few. And for our performing duo, the Humanimals, we made several films, both Marla Wrights and myself, which we showed as part of our performance. So that's where the film work started. Although I made a vampire film when I was 17 at high school, so it's probably started back here when I was at high school.
It's the vampire film.
It was a vampire film. Yeah.
It's inspired by Nosferatu?
No, it's lofty. No, Hammer horror. I loved.
Are you essentially a kind of cinematic artist? Are you somebody who really thinks through moving images when you're working? Yeah,
a lot of the time. Yeah. I long time ago, I sort of named myself Richard Von Image, but that thought passed. But I think I really like that quote from Ezra Pound. Says something like, "It's incredible effort. The incredible effort." I forget the actual simile he used, but it's basically this incredible effort, nearly the effort of a lifetime, is needed to produce one original image. Which is overstating it a bit, but it's a battle of images out there, as you know. There's so many crass images, so many just muddy images.
I think Werner Herzog was saying something in the movie I saw about how there are no images anymore.
Well, he's always on the right track. Good old Werner.
I think that, the other thing I thought about with imagery was the idea of the relationship between visual and memory, and the memory image. The fact that when you're writing, you're giving people quite a lot of highly visual information, and there's a sense in which that's being taken on board subconsciously, I guess.
So that's why you need to be careful of how you write. And
well, you're very. I notice that you're very particular about the form of things you write, in the way that someone like Calvino would be very particular about form. But is that partly because you're aware that you're dealing with quite a lot of forces, and that you want to have some kind of control over those?
No, I like form. Italo Calvino was a great influence. He was actually the writer that I read when I was in London when I was 19. And a little bit later, maybe a little bit later, maybe a few years later. No, actually it was back in 1980 I started reading Calvino, and I realised that I could not write like Calvino, but he offered me a window onto a form of writing that wasn't science fiction, that wasn't real fantasy, but was highly imaginative and humorous and quirky, and so I feel a lot of encouragement reading Calvino. He was liberating.